Hopefully we got our Team Cup teams together, guys. And if you have not, okay, I want to challenge you guys to get signed up today. Like, do not wait another day. Team Cup is that important that we need to be putting an emphasis on that with our teams today. So let's get signed up. Also, as cheesy and as cliche as this sounds, guys, I want you to take a dry erase marker to your mirror or wherever you see the most window, write your goals on there for this coming month for Team Cup. Make it big, make it scary, and push yourself this coming month. Let's really dominate going into February and have that kind of that shift of mindset going into this February. Hopefully all of us are getting our butts kicked right now with 80-day obsession. We're feeling the flow. Lisa looks like she just got done. Lisa looks like she just got done working out. She was like, "Don't look at me." No, but like seriously, it is a killer. I just saw Craig doing it. Man, he's committed to it. I need to jump in and doing this 80 days. So also one-on-ones. Okay, if we do not have a regular one-on-one set up, guys, message me. Okay, let's break down these numbers month by month. At least when that report is coming into your back office, we should have a scheduled call plan, making sure that you are trending towards elite or premier or your income progression. Okay, that's the kind of goals we want to be setting for you as business owners. Okay, so let's do that. As for that, I get the privilege again of introducing to you guys just an amazing person. I'm really excited about today's call. Hopefully you guys read what I put on the post. Guys, she's joined the company in 2010. She's been around a good while with Beachbody. She knows what we're about. She's hit success. She's a successful legend. 84 months. That's insane. I'm so excited to hear what more about what she has. But she's a lifetime 5-star in her first business center. She's a 1-star in her second business center. And she was a 2015 elite coach. Barely missed elite this last year. But, she's pushing hard this year. And I know that she is just someone that can really bring a lot of knowledge into this call today. Guys, do not hold your questions back from her, guys. This is the time to really bring up what we need to know to be an elite coach going into 2018. So Alesha Rose, okay, take the call over and tell us a little bit more about how you got started and about your team.
Sure. So yeah, I'm Alesha Rose. I'm from Alaska, but I live in Florida. My husband, it was Navy, so that brought us to Florida. But I'm also in the Army Reserves, and I've been doing that for 15 years. So I have that very tough love background. And so people know me as the tough love, like FAQ queen, which you'll figure out here in a minute of the figure it out mindset. But I really started this after I came back from deployment. And I just knew that there was something else that I wanted to do. As we grow up and after high school and we're going to college, we just don't know what we want to do when we grow up. And I think that was that biggest struggle that I had was I never knew what I wanted to be when I grew up. So of course I joined the Army, because I didn't know. I did massage therapy in school. I went to school for business management as well. So I've done a little bit of everything, but there's still something. There's something I'm not passionate about and wanting to show up to every single day. So when I came back from deployment, my kids were 2 and almost 4 at the time. And I missed that whole first year pretty much of my son's life. So I knew that I wanted to stay home and be able to work from home because I am a workaholic. I'm a type A personality. I have to work. I have to keep my mind busy. And even if it was just cleaning the house. But I wanted to stay at home with my kids and be able to enjoy more of those special moments as they're growing up. So that was kind of like my big fear almost, and why was to push me forward into finding something that could allow me to work from home. And I was always a big advocate of having 7 streams of income coming in. You always want to have different avenues of income coming in case something happens. And that one thing happened when I was working my corporate job and I got laid off. So I knew that there was something I needed to do. So before I got laid off, though, 2 years prior to that, I started Beachbody, and I was overweight. I was, just tired of how my clothes fit. So my daughter's gymnastic coach said, well, why don't you try P90X? And this was before we had live certifications. So he's like, oh, we have somebody in the back room that, teaches it. I was, it's totally not legit. But so I was like, PX90, what is this thing? So I had my husband Google it and download it. Of course he did download like the first 3 weeks worth. And that it just wasn't for me. Tony's not my man. But then I saw Shaun T and I was totally in love, because that goes with my Army background, that basic training, like kick your butt, you're tired, you're dead on the floor, and you can do it from home. So I was all in. And I did Insanity, and the first round I lost 5 pounds, and I was like, oh, I feel great. People were noticing. So I was on the Insanity Facebook page because I knew that I could get better results. So I was just on there in that community asking questions. And this is before even challenge groups were a thing. So challenge groups and challenge packs weren't even a thing. Shakeology was only about a year old. So I really didn't know much about Shakeology either. And that's where I found my coach, Jessica Nelson, which most of you know, she's in Max 30, an amazing coach. And she found me, and turned out we lived in the same city. So it just worked perfectly. And she told me about coaching, and because I was looking for that other avenue, and I gave her every reason in the book to not start. And it's really funny. I told her no several times. I told her I couldn't afford it. I told her my husband said no. I told her I drink muscle milk. Why would I want to drink Shakeology? I told her everything that you could think of in a 2-week period. From the very first moment I started talking to her to the moment I signed up, it was 2 weeks long, but it seemed like it was 2 months long. And we go back all the time to our messages, and it's just so funny watching it, because I really gave every excuse, but I was just not sure in what the company was. I didn't want it to do home parties. I wasn't sure in my own confidence level of being able to help other people or being able to find other people. But I knew that I trusted her in that short amount of time, based upon some of the things that we're going to talk about today. But I knew that this was something that could be amazing if I just put my all into it. And then I started as a coach in 2010. So from then on, 2 years later, I got laid off from my job. And I was so thankful that I created this nest egg now, or at that point, because I was able to stay home with my kids at that point and then not have to worry about bills piling up and, doing all those things. So, and in that time frame, I was working a full-time job. I was going to school full-time, finishing up my bachelor's. I was doing Army, which is almost a full-time job in itself, because I travel around a lot for my reserve job. So I'm a career counselor. And, I was also, my kids were young. I was coaching soccer. My plate was so full, but I knew that if I wanted something in life, I had to sacrifice a few things, in order to get what I wanted. So I'll just go right, and that's just a little gist about me and my background. And I'll also say in that second round of Insanity that I did right after I started as a coach, I lost 20 pounds, and I included Shakeology. So from then on, that Shakeology, I was like, oh my gosh, like 5 pounds without, 20 pounds with, and I really didn't change much but drinking Shakeology. That was the game changer for me. That gave me the confidence in Shakeology alone and the belief that the products work, and I felt amazing. So that's
Alesha,
going to go.
before you kind of jump in and take your transition, I wrote right here, note to self, do not mess with Alesha. I didn't know you were in the military.
Yes.
That's crazy. That's awesome. But you said that you had to make some sacrifices. Honestly, you were coaching soccer, you're a mom, you were in the military. I mean, like, what kind of sacrifices were you making to make this coaching business work?
Yeah. So sacrifices to me too is a very natural thing. And I think a lot of us moms do that anyway, as putting other people first. So the biggest sacrifice was not putting other people first and putting myself first. Putting the dishes, like the dishes are going to be there, they're going to be there after an hour of your power hour. I sacrificed sleep. I had to get up at 4:00 in the morning to do my workout before I had to get the kids off to school and daycare and all that other stuff. So the biggest thing was sacrificing time, and just taking care of the house and having that piece of letting things go. Like the mess is still going to be there. There's going to be a whole new mess right after you clean. So it doesn't matter. And one of my biggest whys was also to get somebody to come in once a week and clean. Because we all know it takes like hours to do a deep clean, especially if you're OCD like me, where you need everything perfect and clean and no dirt anywhere. And that was like one of my biggest wanting to do to grow was like, I want somebody to come in once a week to clean. And the great thing is that you don't have to make a lot of money in order to get that to happen. And you save so much time and being able to work on your business more after that. So for me, it was just letting things go, and sacrificing, putting other people first before myself. Because I was so used to putting everyone else in front of my own needs, especially being deployed. You're just used to be like, okay, get up and go. And I was actually told 4 days before we deployed that I was deploying. So here I am with an 18-month-old and a 3-year-old, and I'm told I'm deploying in 4 days. It's one of those things where you just have to kind of separate yourself from all of your feelings and emotions, and you just kind of go with it, and just do what you need to do. But then you kind of lose sight of yourself. And so you have to bring yourself back into this place of, that you matter and that you can't give yourself to other people unless your cup is full, or else you're just going to be stressed out and you're just not going to love what you're doing every single day, and you're going to resent other people as well.
Awesome. Well, I can't even imagine having an 18-month-old in New Point. I mean, that's crazy. I know that you have some amazing content, especially you were like, man, I got to share some of this stuff that I learned from Kim. But yeah, so let's dive into it. I mean, what do you have for us? How can we help kind of lead this discussion with you today, Alesha?
Absolutely. So I wanted to go over just kind of like a few tips of what really, I've been making Success Club 7 years in a row. My first 3 months as a coach, I didn't make Success Club, but I didn't even know what Success Club was until I went to a Super Saturday. And at that point, I was like, oh, that's my aha moment, because I saw the Atlantis trip. And I was like, I am going on that trip. I don't know how I get there. I don't know exactly what Success Club is, but I'm going to go for it. So as soon as I got back, I had that figured out mindset. I had to figure out, how do I go on that trip? What do I need to do? And back then we didn't have trainings either. We didn't have Coach Basics. We had the policies and procedures manual. So I read that thing so many times. I had it printed out every time there was a new version. That was like my Bible to growing this business. So the FAQ is so simple and easy, and people know me as the FAQ queen because I can just look something up in 2 seconds, but they think I know it off the top of my head. I'm like, no, it's just that easy to go look it up. So, I think the biggest thing out of this business is that with people not growing is that they are looking for a secret. And there's no secret in this business. It's just hard work. It's consistency. And it's having that figure it out mindset, but also a couple other things. So there's 2 things that are really going to drive your business. The first is belief. So if you don't have a belief in who you are in this business and the products, or in just the company itself, you're not going to get anywhere, because nobody else is going to want to join you if you don't have a full 110% belief that what we do works and that we are able to help other people. And then the second thing is confidence. If you have a negative attitude, or if you have doubts in yourself, that's not going to create success in your business. It's when you have those affirmations, and I say affirmations, not affirmations, because affirmations is asking you why. So why are you an elite coach? Why are you adding 20 new coaches a month to your team? Or why are you adding 2 new coaches a month to your team? And then you start to think of like, well, why am I? Why am I adding so many to my team? Or why am I an elite coach? And then you start to come up with the reasons why you are. Instead of saying, I am an elite coach, you're kind of like, well, I'm not an elite coach yet. And you kind of start to get those negative into your head of what you're not. So really start thinking of why you are things instead. And Jessica and I, we always ask each other, why am I adding so many coaches to our team this month? Or why am I in Success Club 10? Because it's because of X, Y, and Z, because we put those thoughts into motion. And when you're putting that out into the world, it's going to come to you because you're positive. So you want to increase your chance of success by having that positive attitude. But your confidence is really created by repeatedly taking action. We have to get out of this constantly in training mode and go into action mode and learn through the experiences that you have. And that's the best way that you are going to learn, is by experience and by you taking it on and saying, okay, if somebody comes to you and you have no idea about a certain, medical disorder, or, about a program, or about an ingredient in Shakeology, that is when you take that time to learn about it. And you just say, hey, you know what? I need to go do some research real quick. I'll get back to you in a few minutes. And then you go research it. And then you know where to find the information. And you also know how to better help that person because it's fresh in your mind. And you don't have to just constantly learn it all at one time, because that's just impossible. I'm still learning, even 7 years in, and I am like policies and procedures manual queen. I'm still learning every single day because it always changes. Just like social media, it's always going to change. I mean, Instagram, Snapchat, those weren't things when I started. And even Facebook, it was way different when I started as a coach. And when I started as a coach as well, it was that transition from the coaches before us. They were all talking face to face. And then it was more that transition into social media. So we were kind of like the first ones to really use social media 100%. And it's, the business is always going to change. So you have to really adapt and overcome. So the other thing is, though, with that belief and that confidence, is when you go into get uncomfortable and you're starting to get into that uncomfortable zone and you're just not quite sure of like what you're doing. You don't know how to get there. You're just like, this is so uncomfortable. I don't want to do it. Those two things, belief and confidence, is going to push you through. That's what's going to help you overcome any rejections or objections that you get, or that feeling of that you want to puke, because I've had it. That's what's going to get you to push through, because you're confident in you. You're confident in your results because you got results with the program. So you're going to push through. You're going to share it with that level of excitement because you got results with it and it changed your life. So, and that's why you don't want to go into the salesy mode. You want to go into the story mode of like, this changed my life and because of X, Y, and Z. And more people are going to relate to that. And if you tell them that like, hey, you can do it too, and because other people are doing it as well, and you're sharing other people's results at the same time and not just your results, they're going to be like, oh, okay, it's not just her getting the results, but it's other people too, and she's helping other people. And therefore, you're going to grow your confidence and the confidence in your prospects and their belief in you as well. So it's not just your own confidence and belief, but it's a confidence and belief in your prospects and how you come across in that way. And that's what Jessica did in those 2 weeks of talking to every objection with me. She just had this confidence that I was just like, okay. Like, I think I asked her how much she made like 1 million times. And she told me how much her upline, Julie Struthers, made. And I was like, well, how much do you make? And she totally ignored it and just told me about her upline and how much she looked forward to making that much money. And I was like, oh, well, but she said it in a way, it was just so confident. And she had this belief in what she was going to achieve that I was like, I'm on board, like bring me on, because I want to do that too. So having that confidence and belief in yourself is going to be huge. But I wanted to talk to you about when things aren't working, because things are not going to work. I feel like there's so many calls and trainings out there where it's like just the highlights of success. And you're going to have those highlights, but you're also going to have a lot of downs, and you're going to have a lot of times where you question yourself and you question what you're doing. And those questions are good. They're not a bad thing. So when you're asking yourself those questions, you have to look at this like a science experiment. I actually got this from my son's homework like last month. I was like, this is perfect. When you're looking at it as a science experiment, there are so many different variables that you can do. You have your constant, you have what you're doing every single day, and you have those constant things of inviting and following up and all those good things and working out your vital behaviors. But, to get the outcome that you want, you have to try different variables. You have to tweak little things in what you're doing in order to get what you want. And you have to be okay with things not working, because that just means that you just found one way that doesn't work and you don't have to do that way anymore, right? And then you can tweak one little thing and you can kind of come up with something different. So that's what I wanted you guys to do in the chat section right now is when things are failing and you have to tweak something, what are some things that you can tweak? Because it's going for elite is going to be a team effort, and you want to share your ideas and you don't want it to be just you coming up with things. So that's why I'm giving you that little homework assignment to put it into the chat section of what are some things that you can tweak when you have that tweaking different variables, when you're not making Success Club, when you're not adding coaches to your team, when things aren't going the way that you want. What are some of those things that you can tweak? And this will help you with your coaches as well when they're like, I don't know what's not working. So within those science experiment, while you're doing that, their numbers do not lie. So when we're talking to our coaches, we ask them, how many people are you inviting? How many people are you adding to your network? Asking them their numbers, and then how many people are they following up with? Are they actually following up with people? But then also, are you tracking it? Because a lot of people don't track, and it actually took me 7 years to figure out a system for tracking and how my brain worked. Really figuring that out. But those numbers are a direct reflection of what you are doing every single day, or maybe not doing so well, or maybe just not tracking it to where you're like, oh yeah, like I'm just going through my messages and just searching for people of who I talk to. And that's not a organized way of moving your business forward. So you have to figure out, as a business owner, because we are independent Team Beachbody coaches, which means you're the business owner and you're an independent business owner. So you get to decide what you do every single day. You get to decide when your business hours are. You get to decide if you want to do an incentive or not. Like, you get to create this business that you want, but you have to have that figured out mindset and maybe do something different. So let's see here. Some things you could tweak are to stop running co-led coach sneak peeks. I need to be doing them for just my team, not my uplines team too. Yes, and taking some type of ownership for your own business, but you can run it with your team and have that excitement and make it your own if you want. And what we did, because we all kind of run our own sneak peeks, but then we have our big team sneak peek as well, is that we just took the same posts. Like, you don't have to recreate the wheel of it. We just took the same post. We might have had, different team members recreate the videos, but it's short and sweet and simple enough, or just telling their story. So you don't have to recreate things or recreate the wheel over and over again, or do something different if the posts are already there for you. Add more people to your daily numbers, of course. Sharing more of my team's powerful vision with literally everyone I can, and implementing Streak. Yes, vision is so great, because that's really telling you where you want to go. And when you have a big goal, which, I'll share my big goal with you guys because it's scary and it makes me want to puke. And I'm, it's like one of those things I'm like, I just have to have the confidence in it, is going for top 10 this year, and it's only January, so it's absolutely possible. So in order to do that, I have to consistently and constantly provide that vision of what we're going to achieve as a team. And for every single one of you going for elite, share that vision of going elite and what that means and what the purpose is, and share it all the time. So that way it's at the forefront of their minds and get them excited about it. Sharing. Oh, so I track, let's see here, please share your way of tracking follow-up. So I track in Asana. So that's my favorite system to use. And I just go from, I put their name in as a task, and then I just set a due date, and I just go from there. Let's see here. Share the difference with them between failing versus failure. Okay, sure. So also, with failing, there's a huge difference in failing because you want to fail at different things. But then also, you're not a failure. So a failure means you completely quit. You're done. Like you have stopped 100% and you're not even going to try. Failing means that you're trying over and over again. You're just experimenting. You're changing those variables. It may not have worked one time, but you're just going for it, right? You're going for it and you're going to fail. I like to think of it, Kim Carver always has the hitter's mindset. And I like to think of it too in baseball terms because my son plays baseball. But when somebody goes up to bat and if they've never hit before, they're not going to expect to hit a home run every single time. But even the most experienced batters and baseball players don't hit home runs every single time. They're going to maybe strike out. They're going to maybe only hit to first base. They're not going to hit a home run every time, but I guarantee you that they're practicing, that they are doubling up their efforts. They're putting that extra weight onto their bat so that way they can swing easier when they do get up there. And they're taking a lot of time and figuring it out of, okay, what did I do wrong that time? How can I improve? So you want to be able to improve yourself over and over and constantly go back and see, okay, what am I doing? How can I tweak it? Going to your profile and saying, am I even sharing the business opportunity? Am I sharing about coaching? Am I sharing about the success stories of my team or my challengers? And am I saying you can do it too? Am I saying, hey, join me because I have a group starting on whatever date it's coming up on, having that sense of urgency. So are you sharing those things and tweaking if you're not? We're always reevaluating what we're doing to figuring out what's working, what's not working, and how everything's going. So, and I don't know where in society that we've come to figure out like that we're not supposed to fail, because you are supposed to fail. Like even with school, like you're going to you won't hopefully not fail a test, but you'll practice and you'll take practice tests and you'll do your homework in order to ace that test. But there's just somewhere in society where there's just this epidemic of feeling like a failure when we fail instead of being a failure, I just don't know how that mentality came about, but it's one of those things where we just have to say, okay, there's failing and then there's failure. Failure is you're completely done, you quit. And then there's failing where you're trying over and over again. And if you don't hit your goals too, that's okay. That's not a failure. That was just, maybe I didn't do enough. Maybe I didn't share my vision well enough. Maybe I didn't add enough people to my team. Maybe I didn't, have the vision or create the culture, or maybe I didn't add enough people to my network to create the Success Club numbers that I wanted. You're constantly reevaluating what you're doing, but notice that even if you don't hit the goal, like I didn't hit elite past 2 years, but that's okay because I know that my business grew in so many other ways than just hitting elite. So don't think that if you don't hit elite, it's the end of the world, because it's not. Your business will grow because you're going for it. And that's what matters most, is that how you're learning in the process. And I think that was one of my biggest things as growing as a coach, is that you can't stay in that comfort zone and you have to learn and you have to grow. And that's by failing. And to stop reasoning with yourself to stay in your comfort zone. So let's see here. Okay, so everything that we do is with intention and purpose. And then I'll go into I have 3 tips for Success Club, and I know we're getting close on the time. But we're all leaders in helping our coaches figure out, have them figure it out on their own and giving them the resources or letting them know kind of when they start, like, here's how you find it, here's the answer. And that's how I do it with all of my coaches. It's like when they ask me a question and they're brand new, it's here's how you find it first. And then I give them the answer because I know they're brand new. So, but if they're an older coach, I leave it alone for 24 hours and then I come back to them and I say, did you figure it out? Because they should be figuring it out on their own and not waiting for you, because that's an employee mindset. If they're waiting for you to give them an answer, they're not going to be growing their business because they're waiting. They're not taking it into their own hands and saying, I'm an independent Beachbody coach. I can figure it out on my own and grow my own business. So you want to help your leaders and help your team have that figure it out mindset and not an employee mindset. And that's by giving them the resources, telling them where they can find it, because some might not know where they can find it, and then coming back and saying, did you find it? And that'll help you too as far as your time management skills and talking to coaches with their millions of questions. So coming back 24 hours later and saying, did you find the answer? Always helps. All right, so I have 3 tips on making Success Club consistently, and then I'll be done. These are short, sweet, and simple. So the first one is don't get distracted by what other people are doing. It doesn't matter, if somebody's making Success Club 100, or if they're adding 300 coaches to their team, or if they're shooting up into the ranks really quickly. Don't get distracted by that, because it's so easy to have that comparitis. And for me, I know that's one of my triggers. So I have my newsfeed turned off, especially on Thursdays. I turn off my Facebook newsfeed. I use Newsfeed Eradicator. It's a Facebook Chrome extension, or a Google Chrome extension. And I know I can't be distracted by all of those things. If things aren't going well in my business, I do not want to see it. But I will encourage other people on my team. And I think that's where, if you come from a place of your team, if they are growing, your business is going to grow as well. So even within my downlines of, if I have somebody 10 levels deep who goes Emerald or Diamond, I am going to be as excited for them as they are my own coach, because they are on my team. But I'm not going to focus on what other teams are doing and how they're doing it and trying to figure out some secret, because there's not a secret at all. There's no secret. And really connect Success Club to your life goals. If you have a life goal or a personal goal, which I hope you do, then connect that on how Success Club, how helping people, how growing an income, how that can help you improve your life goal, and make it a non-negotiable every month. Make sure that you are making Success Club a non-negotiable to your business, because you want to consistently bring in new customers into your business. That's how your business grows month after month. It's a marker of what you're doing within your business, and that you are constantly adding new people in. So the first one is don't get distracted. The second one is be fearless in the pursuit of what sets your soul on fire. So what ways are you inviting? Are you doing it in ways that excites you? Is your challenge group exciting? I had changed up my challenge group this year to do one long group and kind of made it more of a community. So I call it the High Rise Society, where we rise up in every area of our life. And so that way I get to teach them more of the financial side, because I am very much into savings. So teaching them how I save and doing little free challenges within my group. And it's more of a community where people can come in, and we have early risers. We have an up and Adam tag. We have all these hashtags as well that they can use. And then I use those hashtags when they put High Rise Society on Instagram or Facebook. Every once in a while, I'll go through and I'll send prizes to people because they're hashtagging it. Or I will, do something fun, because I know Keyshawn said yesterday when she was at her Saturday, whatever it was, on her retreat, that somebody did certificates. So even if you don't have the income to do a prize or a $25 Amazon gift card or a free shirt or whatever, do certificates. It's kind of like you can make it fun and really, exciting to do something that costs you so little. So, have a set date to what you're inviting to as well. That sense of urgency is so important. Always be adding new people and share your journey and the journey of others. And that's going to be in that setting or being fearless in that pursuit. You want to always be inviting and sharing what you're doing and sharing the journey of others, because that's how you build that belief and confidence into your prospects. And the third thing is the fortune is in the follow-up. And I'm sure you've heard this a million times, but my favorite is what you track goes whack. So you have to be tracking what you're doing and who you're talking to and the people that you're adding, so that way you can follow up with them. That's how you follow up, and always listening to their needs as well. Listening is a huge part of it. And you can't just be always talking to them and throwing up, just verbiage at them, using those third-party tools, but truly listening, like, what are their goals? What are they struggling with where you can help them? And listening to those little cues that they give you of, okay, like maybe they struggle with nutrition, or they struggle with time, or they, are struggling with cravings. That is at that point where you can use the challenge packs and your challenge group, and you can reconfirm with them that this is what you're going to get help with in my group, and aim your conversation and have it flow towards those struggles and how they're going to overcome it within your group. So that's how you're going to be listening to them and really making it personal to each conversation. And you're going to end every conversation with a question. It can be something as simple as like a closing question. Are you ready yet? Or do you have any other questions? Or are you ready to get started? Or, just asking them a personal question about themselves. If you're building that relationship, always end the conversation with a question, so that way you can have them repeat back or come back to you and have that conversation going. People love to talk about themselves. So, I'm sure you find it a lot when you're talking to other coaches. They just want to talk about them and their team and whatever. But if they're not asking you a question, you're not going to really have that conversation going back and forth. So ask questions at the very end of your conversation, so that way they can reply back. If you're following up with them, say you'll follow up on a certain date. So within my sneak peeks, what really helps is when I'm inviting them to my sneak peek and I add them in there, I say, I will follow up with you an hour before it starts, or the day before it starts. And then, because we do a live sneak peek through an event, and we also have a 3-day coach sneak peek. So I say, I'm going to follow up with you an hour or a day before it starts. And then when it's right before it starts, I'm going to say, hey, just sending you out a reminder. Like I told you that I would follow up with you. Our sneak peek starts in an hour. Super excited for you to check out what we're doing. Are you going to be able to attend? Asking that question. So then I'm going to say, great, talking to them. I will follow up with you right after the sneak peek, or I'll follow up with you the day after our sneak peek. So now they know that I'm going to follow up with them on the day after, or right after it's finished, to see what they thought of it. What did they like best? Is there any questions that they have that you can help answer? Or do they have any hesitations? That's one of my favorite questions is, do you have any hesitations? Because so many people do have hesitations. They're just not sure in that confidence or that belief in themselves that they can do this. And that's where you can come in and reassure them that they're making the right decision for themselves and for their team. So let's see here, and follow through on it. Make sure you're following through on that, so that you're keeping your word, and also keeping track of who you talk to. So some of the ideas that I had to get in Success Club this week from the retreat this week, I have 2. So one is offering an incentive. So you are your own business owner, so you can offer an incentive within the policy and procedures guidelines. So you can do like a shirt. So I have an 80-day obsession shirt that I had somebody else make, and it's through a different company that got the approval from compliance. But so she had the shirts made, and then I'm giving it to all of those who finish their first full month of 80-day obsession. So that's kind of like that other extra treat of like, once you finish the first phase, you're going to get this shirt. And they know that. So that's an awesome way for them to really come around and to finish that first phase, just so they get that little like, hey, I'm doing 80-day obsession. I'm getting excited about it. Here's a little gift for you for finishing that first phase. And you can do something for each phase if you want. And then also, you can provide, if you don't have the income, provide an extra meal plan. You could do free things that don't create a lot of time to recreate, because there's a ton of meal plans out there from other coaches from the test groups. So you can offer those meal plans to them. You can even do an Amazon gift card as well, and that's super easy to do because you can just email it to them. So offering an incentive for them to get started on their journey or to join the team. And the other thing is invite 200 people. So one of my coaches, Nikki Jammer, she's amazing. She's always in Success Club 10 in the first week. And that's because she invites 200 people in that first week. And then she just follows up with all of those people. So she's spending all that time doing the invites, and she's in Success Club 10 every month in the first week. And it's amazing that what she does in that. I also have a coach, Desiree Santiago Hines, and she hits Success Club 40 to 50 every single month. And it's amazing and it's crazy, but because I've never hit 40 or 50. So just know that you don't have to hit those numbers. Like I hit, anywhere 10 to maybe 15. The most I've ever hit was 38 in the 7 years. So know that you don't have to hit high numbers to be, to have success or to be an elite coach. But she hits 40 and 50 every month. It's because she's talking to 30 people a day. But this is her full-time job. She quit her nursing job to do this. So she's talking to 30 people a day, and that's a lot of people in a month. So just know that you can do this as the more that people that you're inviting. So the more people you invite, the more likely you're going to make Success Club. And that's really just those tips right there. If you have coaches who are not hitting Success Club, have that figured out mindset. Okay, what are you doing? What are you not doing? How can we tweak it to come up with the right answer? And let them know that it's not the end of the world if you don't hit Success Club, but that is our goal. That is what we're doing. Because if they have 1 to 4 points, more power to them, because they are helping somebody. And that's what's important, is that they're making those life changes and helping somebody. And that one person that they help may sign up as a coach later on and be the rock star that pushes their business to a 6-figure business. It doesn't take very many coaches to build a multiple 6-figure business. I think it was like from the time I signed up, I think my husband was 2-star before I was. You gotta love that. But I had 2 coaches, and it was pretty much my husband's 2 diamonds that really pushed my business up into a 6-figure business. So it's just that power that one person can make a huge difference in your business. So it doesn't have to be a huge amount of numbers of like you have to add 10 to 20 coaches a month. But quality for me is everything over quantity, because they can get lost. And I've done it where I've added 20 coaches a month, and I honestly didn't even know some of their names after like the first week. I'm like, who is this person? Because you lose that sight of that connection, and you have to do what works for you. So for me, I'm all about quality and working more one-on-one with people, which that's what I do. I'm doing today is one-on-one calls with my coaches. But I hope that, all of those tips that I gave you today can really help you with your invites and your coaches, and helping you with Success Club and getting them into that mindset that you have to constantly be learning and growing and not being afraid to fail, because being afraid to fail is a good thing, or failing is a good thing, and you want to fail and fail forward. So, what I can do is I'll just add my posts. I'll just put it all into like an Evernote for you or a Google Doc, and I'll just add my posts in here into the Elite Push group. And that way you can see what I do for my sneak peek. So
awesome. Seriously, Alesha, this has been awesome. I know that we have a lot of people are like wanting to jump onto that national wake up call, but does anyone have any questions? I do want to open it up for at least 5 minutes for questions. If you have any specified questions, If not, we will go to next week. But again, opening it up for 5 minutes.
Well, I drink my coffee because I had 5 hours of sleep the past like 5 days.
I was glad that you're able to make it home safely.
Yes, and I'm glad to see the mountains in the background there because I'm missing that view. Oh my goodness, guys, if you have not gone to corporate in Utah, it is so cool. It's the most gorgeous place ever. We got there was like no snow, and then the first night it snowed. So we're like, yes, snow, and it made for gorgeous pictures that we just took with my camera, my phone. So you don't have, and that's the other thing too, is like that comparative part too. You don't have to do, if you do a retreat with your team, you don't have to do a professional photographer or makeup or hair. All you need is some snow and a good phone camera, and that's all you need.
Isn't that the truth, right?
Yeah. Be resourceful. You don't have to spend a lot of money to, play it up. Because that was one of our things too, is like that comparitis of other people's leader retreats. And, we're just like, you know what, we're just going to do it how we want to do it. And, we were so grateful just to be able to attend one of our uplines Diamond Retreat. And we didn't get all these gifts and like all this cool stuff. But it was more about the relationships that you build there and everybody that you're talking to as well. I use Newsfeed Eradicator. It's a Google Chrome extension. And I actually have it off all day long. I don't ever turn it on until it's my Facebook scrolling time. So when I have the time to scroll on Facebook, then I'll do it. And the cool thing about Newsfeed Eradicator is that you can put quotes in there too. So it'll give you quotes, but I also put in like, are you in Success Club yet? Have you helped so many people yet? Why are you an elite coach? Doing those things. And so it's kind of like you can put your affirmations in there. So every time you hit that home button, you get a new quote and you're like, oh, like I hit that home button. It's that constant, like, oh my gosh, I need to stop hitting that home button. But I have all my people that I add onto Facebook, I put them onto lists. So I know that if I go into their friends list, so you actually go up on the top. So underneath, it's like under the friend button, if you just hover over it and it says add to another list, and you can create lists. So I create it by month and year. So all of my new prospects that I add to my Facebook in, let's say December of 2017, on the side where it says like where you can create your groups and it has like, or go into your groups, there's actually a little button that says friend list. I can go in there, click on December 2017, and now I have all of those people's news feeds. So all of their posts that they're doing. So I'm not just wasting my time on there. I'm actually being very intentional with my Facebook scrolling. It's for a purpose, and I'm creating that connection with them in that time, but I'm doing that last. I do my follow-ups first, then I do my new invites, and then I'll add new people to my network, and then I do my reconnects. So my reconnects are always last within my business because that's the thing that can suck the most of your amount of time up of just being caught up in people's posts. So I try to do that last so that way I don't have to worry about it. But that's how I kind of stop from Facebook scrolling and getting squirrel brain because I have it really bad.
Awesome. What a great question. Thank you. Guys, seriously, this has been an amazing call. I did record it. I will post it on the Elite Push Group page. My biggest takeaways, guys, and I wrote it and I circled it, is we got to be taking action. And not only that is, I wrote like a quote that I have above my computer is clarity comes when I take action in my business. When we're failing forward, that's when we're learning the most about ourselves. And that's what we're, able to learn about what others are, what's holding them back as well. So Alesha, thank you so much again for being here with us. And I will get this recording up and as quickly as I can. Now, is there any last challenges that we should be aware of going into this week from you, Alesha?
The biggest thing right now is just be focusing on earning Success Club if you're not in already, but then helping your coaches do it and getting them on the Team Cup. Because that right there, if they're on a Team Cup team, now you know that they are serious about their business and growing their business, and you can do fun things in there to help them with the Team Cup. You can do more sneak peeks because of it. You can do more challenge groups. There's all sorts of things that you can do within the Team Cup and pushing for that and having fun with it. And you can do, we used to do to a document with all of the teams and the names, and they would update it with their points. So that way it was more of a challenge within the team as well of who on the team has the most amount of points at the end. And even if they're not a top 10 team with the team cup, they could be the top team within your team of the team cup. So you can do a fun little prize that way as well. So that's a good idea. I'm coming up with good ideas as I talk. And, just really now's the time for that follow-up. It's the time to have that sense of urgency and plan it out. And making sure that everything is planned out for the rest of the year. All my PS coach calls are planned out. All of my challenge groups are planned out. I know exactly when they're starting, what date they're starting, so I have something to invite to.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, guys, thank you so much. Again, Alesha, thank you so much for being here and just sharing your wealth of knowledge with us. And all right, guys, I will see you all next week, same time. I'm going to go ahead and push stop to our recording.